Inclined to experienced men out there in the middle. Parramatta will defend the southern end of Parramatta Stadium. Jonathan Thurston will get us underway on Monday Night Football. The kickoff will go down towards Robson, taken instead by Jared Hayne, and Fui Moi Moi need to set a platform for them here tonight, brings it back beyond the 10. They wait. Keating goes from dummy half to the right-hand side. Nathan Kalis hit by a quickly advancing line. Matthew Scott with that tape around the head still, making another tackle right here with some help from Willie Tonga. Keating again. Take it down the short side here. Ben Smith missed the game last week with a hamstring injury, which he suffered for the second time in short succession a couple of weeks ago against the Broncos, but he's back tonight, and Moi Moi takes it up towards the halfway line. Keating waiting now as he goes to Hayne to kick from around about the halfway line. The ball will bounce down to Ashley Graham, playing on the wing tonight with a runner to Mata, the much-travelled NRL player, playing at right centre. And Matty Bowen will play it just inside his own 20. Good set of six and a good kick off the back of it from the Eels to get this one underway. Here's Thurston at dummy half. Going to Scott Bolton. They'll be dangerous on that left-hand side of the field in conjunction with Willie Tonga. The Eels will need to be on their toes on that far side in this first half. Matthew Scott was very good for Queensland throughout the Origin series. He plays it here as it goes to Mason. A tip on for Hogan, who was just about away. Almost snuck between Keating and Mateo. Payne fast play the ball for Bowen to put the kick in over the head of Luke Burt. A dangerous sign there for the Parramatta Eels in their middle third defence.
Yeah, they're up very quick. Line speed was good, but they forgot about the lead runner. Willie Mason just giving it to Hogan. The assumption was from the Eels that it was going out the back, and they were just able to get hold of him, Mateo and Matt Keating, to pull him to ground, but a near thing there for the Eels.
Matty, you lock in. Paralock. All the way in, boys. It's in.
It will be Jeff Robson feeding the scrum. Make of that what you will, of course, but Daniel Anderson did say he expects Robson to spend a lot of time at first receiver in attack tonight, with Daniel Monners getting a bit more room to move and hopefully seeing a few more offloads as well. It's what drove them to the grand final at the back end of 2009. Here is Hayne getting away from Mason's attempted tackle. He came again, though. Hayne was held up by Bolton. And Mason dived in like a feeding shark to have another crack at him. Now it comes through the hands of Mortimer. Robson back on the inside for Mateo. They did very well. Leeson arm out. Held on desperately and made an important tackle. Robson, good short ball for Jonathan Wright, who loses the ball in the tackle of Ravelli. And they will target Ravelli here tonight, but he makes a good one first up.
Adventurous start there by the Parramatta side, but it was played with control. The setup was beautiful from the Parramatta side. They had good width, they had good shape. They spread the football and then went again down the short side. Unfortunately, Wright made an error with the ball, and here come the Cowboys on the counter-attack through Willie Tonga.
Got a lovely ball from Matty Bowen, gets ankle tapped, and a good thing for Parramatta. Otherwise, he was away. And they will get a penalty. And off the back of this, the Cowboys will put some early pressure on this Parramatta defensive line.
And when the Cowboys were at their best a couple of seasons ago, it was the ability to counter-attack, either from kick returns or a turnover. They get into shape quickly, they spread the football, and they give it to their danger men. If they are to be successful tonight, that's a formula they'll need to revert back to. Given that Bowen is now at the back of the field, Willie Tonga is out there on that left edge. Look to shift the ball and move the opposition defence around.
Mason into the teeth of them. They're playing about 15 away from the Parramatta line. Payne waits and he gives it to Thurston. Gives it back underneath for Scott, who fires a left arm offload away to Thurston. Now he pivots, gives it back to Payne. He says, I don't want it. Willie, you take it forward. Mason offloads it. That's about three in the one play. And then Ravelli straightens things up and takes them on. Bowen at first receiver. He comes to the outside to Tamata, who got away from Jonathan Wright and also Burt. In the end, it was Robson who saved the try. They go wide from Ravelli. Away to Thurston, over the top. A chance here. Tonga on the outside of Joel Reddy. He goes across to Tupo for the corner. and I think you'll find he scored.
Well, he just had to stay low, Tupou. Good work by Willie Tonga. Again, the shift from the Cowboys. Jonathan Thurston, an overhead pass that gave Tonga some space. And then Tupou, with not much room to work with, had to stay low. Inu, did he get any part of him on the sideline? I would say not. The only question is was the ball touching the ground? Inu's arm was underneath that football.
Yeah, it was an interesting one.
You watch Inu's right hand go under the ball. Does it keep it off the ground now? Because now his left hand is touching the line. So anything that happens after this is not good for Tupou.
Well, I couldn't be sure.
We saw one recently, very similar, which went to the attacking side as far as benefit of the doubt was concerned. Could even throw it back as a ref's call. Now, video referee tonight is Tim Mander.
I think benefit of the doubt.
Well, the concern is the left hand and how quickly that does get over the white line and put Tupou out.
We'll see what sort of mood Tim Mander is in first up here tonight. He'll say no try. He doesn't believe any part of the ball touched the turf, and a real let-off for Parramatta.
Well, it is a let-off because the Cowboys are looking dangerous on that left side of the field, and that's their preferred side. They like to attack down that side of the field with Bolton, Willie Tonga, now young Tupou playing on that side of the field. But that's twice now they found Parramatta out on that side. Be prepared to shift the football. They're not numbering up this Parramatta team defensively, and they're not winning the battle on the ground, more importantly, which is allowing the Cowboys to shift the football.
Well, the offloads really stretch Parramatta's defence. The offloads by Mason and Scott had the Eels under pressure.
Again, Willie Mason coming out of the line in a hurry. He's a man on a mission here tonight defensively. Here's Moi Moi now. Good run. Got to the outside there of Bolton. Matthew Scott helped take him to ground about 40 away from the Cowboys line under pressure. Robson got the kick in. Again, it was Mason screaming out of the line. He must be getting paid by the metre here tonight.
Well, that's good work by the big front row, and that's what you need. You need your whole team to be placing pressure on the opposition kicker, and if your front rowers can do it, that's a bonus.
Good tackle here, Ben Smith. Going across the field, Ashley Brown was looking to link up with him on that left-hand side. Now Bolton puts it down. And a chance for the Eels to launch a counter-attack. Inu has it. And he's inside the Cowboys 20. Ready to take it forward for a settler while they work out what they're going to do in behind them. Robson going closer to the action as Keating comes to the left-hand side. Here is Robson. Mortimer at second receiver. Hayne gets away from Tamata. Still going, straightens, puts a step on, beats Mason, then Hogan. Comes back to Mason again, and he's just inside the Cowboys 10. Plenty of tackles up their sleeve in this set. Moi Moi running at Dane Hogan. Giving away a bit of size there was Hogan. He might have been hurt as well. Now Keating comes back from Hayne. A poor ball. They just lost their rhythm on that left edge, and it's a simple turnover, isn't it?
Well, he loves the left-hand play, Jared Hayne, and look to throw the long ball to Luke Burt. They have had success with it in the past, but they've also had plenty of mistakes with it recently. He got that one wrong, the little short one to Mateo.
And again, working it away from their own end, the Cowboys showing a liking to go to that left-hand side and try and catch out the Eels. As Tonga will play it just beyond the 30. Here is Hogan. He's okay after receiving that knock in the tackle. Lisa Armau brings it back towards the 40-metre line. A chance for both teams. The Cowboys have gone closest, of course, with the no try as Bowen puts the kick in. Taken on the full by Jared Hayne. Looks to be on his game and enthusiastic with his ground coverage tonight.
That's a good sign for Parramatta. He's actually moving around, providing himself as an option for the football team. And when he gets the kicks on the full like that, you know that Jared Hayne is in the mood.
He needs to be. Parramatta need him to be at his best. Now goes away from Mortimer. It comes to Ben Smith. He'll play it just on the halfway side of the 40-metre line for Parramatta. Boy, a dodgy old play the ball, but it's play on is the call. Kalis back into Cowboys territory. Matt Keating isn't quite ready for it. Now Moi Moi looking for an offload. Quick hands. They keep it alive through Robson, then Mateo. He's got support, turns it back on the inside for Jonathan Wright. But if you live by the offload occasionally, or more so in the case of the Eels in recent times, you'll die by the offload.
Well, he left it too late, Jonathan Wright. Mateo was begging him to come on the inside. In the end, Mateo had to hang on to it that long that he had to turn his body to pass it. He wanted Jonathan Wright to cut back on the inside earlier than that.
Having said that, though, he should have held on to it. He should have held on to it. It was a no-look pass back on the inside. And when you haven't been completing and you're struggling to score points, you have to go with the safest option first.
That has been the downfall in Feleti Mateo's game during this downturn in fortunes for Parramatta. Plenty of opportunities, plenty of half chances, but plenty of balls put down off the back of those chances as well. Now first, putting it back on the inside here for Matt Scott, who brings it back up towards the halfway line. 9 minutes gone, still no score on Monday Night Football. Payne out of dummy half, giving it to Ravelli. Bowen, plenty of ball movement in this game. It's working again for the Cowboys. Tamata down the sideline. Couldn't get it to Graham, who lost it. Mateo flicks it to Moi. And it's a frantic start. The Cowboys wanting to use the football. It looks good when they do. Parramatta hanging on for the moment. Now they get a penalty. The Cowboys up inside the 10.
Well, we spoke before the game about both teams playing for their season, and we're expecting a highly energised performance. And what we've got so far is both teams prepared to move the football. They're moving the football from sideline to sideline. And when you do that, forwards can start to become fatigued. Forwards like contact early. And if you're not doing that and you're going sideways to sideline to sideline, all of a sudden the game can open up, and it can open up through the middle.
Now Robson going to Mortimer once again, taking them on, getting in behind Thurston. Good tackle by Willie Tonga. He wrapped up Ben Smith about 5 metres away from Mortimer. It goes to Robson. Here's Moi, trying to look to offload in the tackle. And just hung on to it as he went to ground. Keating comes to Robson again with Mortimer on his outside. Mateo spinning, looking to offload. It was a set play, but once again it doesn't work out for the Eels.
No, Robson would love his time over and not throw that ball. Plenty of pressure on Feleti Mateo to take that one. Ravelli all over him. It forced the ball to go to ground.
It's a hard pass to throw when you go to the line. It's Jonathan Thurston from inside his own quarter.
Trying to link up with Tonga on his outside. Graham back on the inside. He gets away from Hindmarsh. No, he doesn't. What a tackle. Another in the long list of try-saving tackles by Nathan Hindmarsh. Bowen gives it to Armau. He takes it to the 20. And just like that, they are back on the attack. This isn't a rugby league game. It's a track and field meet. Now Ravelli to Hogan, off the shoulder of Mateo. Plenty of speed, plenty of sting as well in this one tonight. Payne goes to the left. Here's Thurston, giving it to Bolton. They've created plenty of tries and opportunities like that so far this season. Here's another chance. Thurston's kick, picked up by Hayne, but he only just got there before the Cowboys pounced.
Some great football from both sides, plenty of ball movement. Some really good football being played at the moment. Plenty of energy.
Yeah, I tell you what, Jared Hayne did a great job. It looked like he actually stole the ball out of Willie Tonga's hand. I thought for a second there when the ball pulled up short that Tonga was going to get to it first. There's the kick by Thurston. Willie Tonga almost there.
Within an ace of coming up with it, and points for the Cowboys. Here is Hayne down the middle of the field. Bowen wants to get to it as quickly as he can and hit up the meters as he comes back to them. A good chase by the Eels. Wright is there to make the tackle on him. 13 metres short of the halfway line. Didn't quite strike that one as he would have liked, Jared Hayne, because, well, he can kick them as far as anybody in the game.
Yeah, he certainly can. He mistimed that kick. There's a few errors in the game, but it's certainly exciting. Now they go through Willie Tonga once again. It's causing plenty of headaches for Joel Reddy on that side of the field.
Some terrific battles on either edge of the field here tonight. Now Matthew Scott, good run. We saw plenty of that in the Maroon jumper for him in the Origin series this year. He plays at 30 away. Now Mason to Ravelli. Out the back for Matty Bowen. He looks sharp also tonight. A good kick in behind Luke Burt. Graham has him. And a good thing he didn't take him over the line. Otherwise, it was going to be a penalty. But they've got the Eels working it away from the corner of the field. And Hogan picks off Hayne in a scything tackle. Keating gives it to Kalis. Didn't get the chance to show it again, but that was some sort of tackle, wasn't it? On Thurston by Hindmarsh when they were away, or Graham off the back of the Thurston pass and the break.
Super chase by Nathan Hindmarsh. Boy, it did look like a Cowboys try when Graham loomed up on the inside of Jonathan Thurston, but he never gave up, Hindmarsh.
They don't build a statue to Nathan Hindmarsh here at Parramatta Stadium after his career is over. There needs to be an inquiry. He has been a marvel. Now Hayne. Better kick this time towards the sideline from well inside the 40, but wasn't going to be quite enough distance on it for a 40-20. Bowen, anyway, got there to take it out of play. Now the Cowboys make an error. And Jonathan Thurston thinks he's playing for Spain in the World Cup. Came back to tow it away from the Eels and then blazed one into the top right corner. The keeper had no chance.
Second row off line. We offside then, I was coming.
A few errors from both sides. Their willingness to move the football. That wasn't the problem there. Good solid contact by the Parramatta chase after the long ball thrown to Tupou from Matt Bowen.
Who's this?
Let's go, guys.
And this is the Hindmarsh tackle once again.
Just got his feet, and that's all he needed, because Chris Naninu, there was more Cowboys looming up with Graham. It just had to be made.
Classic Hindmarsh. You could fill an hour's worth of highlights tapes. Stuff like that. Here he is now tipping on it. Goes away to right. Good hands by the Eels on this left-hand side of the field. They're 15 away. Now Mateo going to the line, showing it. For the Cowboys' defence on their own line so far has been good. Mateo will play it. Matt Keating feeds it for Robson. They get up in the face of Justin Paul. Coming up out of the line, it's Willie Mason. A turbocharged Willie Mason here tonight. Now Mortimer going to Hayne. Good cut-out ball. Reddy can't hang on to it. He was going to be hard to stop. If he comes up with the ball, it was a good pass as well. Look at Mason. I don't know what he's having for a pre-game meal, but I want half.
No, he's getting off the line and getting in the face of the Eels players. Opportunities need to be taken, and that one wasn't by Joel Reddy after a terrific pass from Jared Hayne. Squared things up and squared the defence up, and Reddy was in a huge hole with players outside him. You can only imagine if he catches the football, it's the opening try of the game.
Well, we speak about the energy from both sides, and it's like they've been lacking confidence, and both coaches have said to the teams, look, go out there, be confident, just trust your skills, play some footy and relax. And that's the way they're approaching it. They're moving the football, playing some football. There's some errors, but it's certainly entertaining.
He's having a battle out here, Jonathan Wright, with Arana Tamata. It's a couple of times now Tamata's been able to get on the outside of Wright. It could cause problems.
It's the best nil-all scoreline you've seen in 17 minutes of rugby league this season. Now Thurston turning it back on the inside for Hogan, cuffed by Ben Smith. Play on's the call. For the moment, Bowen stepping. He looks electric, doesn't he? They are all firing up the big guns here this evening. Now Payne out of dummy half. Hogan got a hand to it and knocked it on.
Well, with a running dummy half like Aaron Payne, you have to anticipate when he's about to go. He goes out of dummy half, engages a marker, and the Cowboys were standing flat. They were flat-footed. They need to be pushing forward, anticipating that Payne was going to do that. If you engage a marker, there's space in behind the ruck. But young Hogan, he was just on his heels, not reacting quick enough. And he just assumed that someone was going to be there. Aaron Payne, he popped it up. And unfortunately, another turnover for the Cowboys. You know, there's no real control or patience being shown here by both teams.
Well, they're both at 50% completion rate. They are struggling to maintain any sort of pressure.
But I must say, I'm enjoying watching it.
Well, they're both having a crack.
Yes, they are, and they need to. Given the situation they find themselves in coming here tonight, as Mateo stands in the tackle of Mason. Eventually, Tamata has to go to his legs and drag him to ground. Now Mateo trying to work a penalty all over Mason. And eventually he gets up to play it cleanly. Now Kalis goes forward, dumps it out the back. Here's Mateo getting plenty of touches. Again, it's to Mata. It goes around his legs. Jonathan Wright hangs onto it. And he's stopped by Aaron Payne. Just outside the Cowboys 30. Robson to Mortimer. They certainly are playing as halfback and 5'8" in the old sense tonight. Now Mortimer giving it to Reddy. Quick hands away to Inu. Chipping over the top. Good kick. Bowen covers and takes it out of play.
Outstanding. Outstanding football from Parramatta. They kept the football alive. There were some changes of direction. And then Kristen Inu chips over the top. Matty Bowen is back there. He kicks it dead. But another repeat set coming up from for Parramatta. When Parramatta offload the football, I'd like to see them clear the ruck. They're just playing around the ruck when they offload. They're dragging the numbers in. There's space on the edges, so they need to use the football.
The dropout not handled by Ben Smith from the boot of Grant Ravelli. It's Justin Paul who brings it back, and there is Willie Mason once again. Tackle number 13, and all of them have counted. And even some of those he missed. Ben Smith. Good right foot step. Mason there makes another one with some help from Thurston. Now Mortimer. He goes to Robson. Mateo. Payne wrapping around the back. Had passed it before he had it under control. And again, coming to this left-hand side of the field, Parramatta just can't complete the play.
You're right, the little wrap around the back from Jared Hayne. His eyes lit up because he could see the space for Luke Burt down the sideline, and he was trying to get rid of it, but never really had control of the footy. It bobbled around in his hands. Little set play that, again, if the pass and the execution was better, you could have seen Parramatta points. So they've had a couple of opportunities now, really, that they've let slip.
I'd like to see Parramatta maybe attack now a little bit more through the middle. They've been prepared to go to the edges, and the Cowboys are spreading their numbers. And because it's been a fast-paced game, there is some opportunity there.
As Tupou gets the ball from Thurston, Reddy comes across in cover. Kalis is also there, but Tupou manages to stay inside the field of play. They go wide to Bowen. Here's a chance to spread it instead. It's Hogan who takes it down inside the Parramatta 40-metre line. What a good game of football this is. Still no scorers. Mason takes it to the 30. Stopped there by Ben Smith with some help from Mortimer. Couple of plays left in this set. Short side raid. Thurston. Good ball for Bolton. A handful for Justin Paul. Likewise for Reddy and Mortimer. And they stop him 10 metres out on the last. Thurston going to Ravelli. We'll put a crossfield kick in. A chance for Graham. Burt coughs it up. Parramatta are offside. Play on is the call. And Tamata has it. This will be 6 more tackles. No, now he says we'll give the Cowboys the penalty for being offside.
Good pressure from the outside men. The kick from Ravelli. Just about on the spot. Luke Burt did have a good play at the football. Couldn't handle it.
There was no way, given the way both teams have played here tonight, they were going for 2, a tap, and off we go again. James Tamu takes it towards the uprights. Stopped there by Smith and also Hindmarch. Thurston back to the left-hand side. He goes to the line, shows it, gives it. What a ball! A lovely pass by Thurston. It wasn't forward. Ashley Klein says that's a try. Boy, if he wasn't on the ground, he had to be very, very close. What a play by JT.
Well, when you need points, you go to your leaders. And the leader for the Cowboys is Jonathan Thurston. And how many times have we seen him do this? When you play against the Cowboys, you have to stay square on him. You can't afford to take a dummy. You can see Mortimer there, eyes only for Scott Bolton, which allows Thurston to go in between the defender, and Willie Tonga was pushing up in support. I got my doubts over the pass. You see Mortimer not even looking at Thurston carrying the football, and that allowed Thurston to slip through. It's a forward pass. It shouldn't have been a try. That's a bad decision from the referees. Good reaction from Willie Tonga pushing up, but it was a poor defensive read from young Daniel Mortimer.
You could tell when Jonathan Thurston snuck through there that the lower he got, the more the pass was going to be forward. It looked forward live, and on replay, it was blatantly forward and should not have been missed. Sometimes it's difficult to tell when a player's going down onto the ground, but Willie Tonga was standing in front of him by the time Thurston threw it. He threw it that late that Tonga had run past him.
Well, from here, we felt as though it was forward. We're 50 metres behind it.
Ashley Klein was waiting, looking for a call, didn't get one, and awarded the try. Here's Thurston. Very kickable for a kicker of his calibre. He makes it 6 points to nil. The Cowboys on top of the Eels. You can hear the Parramatta crowd think of that decision. Let's go downstairs to Andy.
And a couple of injury concerns for Parramatta at the moment. Timmy Manor has just come on for Nathan Kalis, but Jeff Robson on screen. A cork on his bicep. I just spoke to Craig Catterick from the Eels. It has blown up immediately. They've taped it up, and there's some doubt over him. Benny Smith on camera now has aggravated that hamstring injury. He's hanging in there for a while. Both guys will be assessed at the break.
Well, that is a real blow. Speaking of a blow, Carl Webb knocks it on. Off the restart. And they all missed the whistle. But here is Carl Webb. Well, this is always going to be called a knock-on, and it was a knock-on.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Carl Webb left to catch the football. He wouldn't be back there to catch it. There was someone designated to be the catcher, but you've got to be adept at everything in the game. Should have taken it. He's put his team under pressure.
There were some injuries early on. The Eels get a chance to hit back. Ben Smith aggravating that hamstring injury, which he's returning from tonight. The second attempt at a comeback from it. Sounds as though he wanted twinged it once again. Now Manor, fresh off his origin debut for New South Wales on Wednesday night. A limited appearance, albeit. He plays it for Keating. Comes through Mortimer. Away to Robson. He's got that cork bicep. Look at Mateo's step. Boy, he's a dancer, isn't he? In traffic once again, almost creating something. So goes across from Keating to Tim Manor. Running wide, almost getting away from Thurston. He bounced back to his feet and played it quickly. And Keating had the ball knocked down by Thurston, who was never square.
Fantastic play, the ball by Tim Manor. Thurston, a good ball and all tackle, but Manor used his strength to get up and play the ball quick, which put Thurston offside. He became involved in the play. There he is, certainly not square. Knocks the ball out of Keating's hand.
I'll go at them with a full set of 6 right here. Thurston watching on as they run to his side of the field. Justin Paul. Good charge, only a couple of metres out when he plays it. Here's Mortimer. Goes to Robson, who shows it straight past Leeson Armel. He beats Matty Bowen as well, and the Eels have responded. Terrific run by Jeff Robson. They haven't taken a dummy all night, the Cowboys, but he sliced through. And it will be 6-all in just a moment.
And that's where the money is for Parramatta. Parramatta tonight have been prepared to go to the edges, go to the edges. And the first time that one of the ball players just shows it and cuts back into the slide, they find out this Cowboy side defensively. And in a fast-paced game, forwards become fatigued if you've been moving the football from sideline to sideline. And the space and the money is back through the middle. And he worked that one out there, Jeff Robson.
Well, they have been struggling to get an impact from their halves, and that's exactly what's been required. Robson taking all the pressure off his outside men. A repeat set, a penalty off the back of that. The Eels get what they wanted, a 4-pointer, Luke Burt, to make it 6.
And to make it 500 career goals now. His time with Parramatta, only the second Eel to kick 500-plus goals. Of course, the legendary Mick Cronin kicked 865 in his time with his famous rugby league club. 6-all it is, 28 gone, right here on Monday Night Football. Carl Webb He'll have a bit of making up to do for that error off the kick-off, won't he? I know it was a tough one. He shouldn't have been the man to catch it off the restart. They'll be eating away at him until he gets a chance to do something in defence right here, perhaps. Out come the Eels, and boy, James Tamo coming up with a big shot there on Tim Manning. Now Hayne, away to Ben Smith. They're up in his face, Tonga and Tupou. Now the ball comes loose, and it was stripped. It fired out of the play, the ball. And it was either Tonga or Tupou who had a hand in there, said the referee, and Parramatta will work it away from their end.
There's some great intent there in the tackling, though, from the Cowboys. Their first two tackles, there was good first-up contact. Unfortunately, they give away a penalty. And that's been an area which has been very disappointing for them this season. But tonight, they've shown us glimpses of what they can do in that part of the game.
Might have been lucky to get away with that one, the Eels. Willie Tonga had taken his hand away from the football well before Ben Smith dropped it.
Very fortunate Parramatta to get that one to go their way. Mateo now to Mata coming up in the contest. Got his arm on the ball, then knocked it on. It was going to be a knock on anyway, and Parramatta, either way, we're going to get possession around about the halfway line, and that's exactly what Jared Maxwell rules, the knock on back just on the Cowboys side of halfway, and the Eels will get the scrum feed with Anthony Watts coming onto the field for the Cowboys in the lead up to that set of 6 from Parramatta's end.
And Watts has added something to the Cowboys' effort every time he's come onto the field over the last 4 to 6 weeks. He has been their form player, the man that really has threatened, worried teams around the ruck.
Right now, though, they'll be defending their own line once again as the Eels work it forwards. A Hindmarsh pass out in front of Daniel Mortimer, who couldn't come up with it. And just like that, all the momentum goes out of this surge. They've gone down the field here and scored again. They might have made a big, big statement in this game. Instead, they'll be off the back end of this next set defending their own line.
It's a funny game, rugby league. When your confidence is at its peak, you just make that play. You can catch that ball without looking, but when you're struggling to find your rhythm and your confidence, all the easy plays, the simple plays, are sometimes the hardest plays to make. And that's what's happening for both these teams tonight. Having said that, it's been an entertaining game of football. Even though the completion rates aren't great, both teams playing with one of those attitudes that score points at all costs.
Here is Watts getting it at dummy half after he made a good run to get the set of 6 going. Now Webb got away from Mateo, but he's wrapped up just outside the Eels 20. Watts, show it to Tamo. Flat ball there for Dane Hogan. Allowed to continue on now. There's a call of a forward pass. There seemed to be a delay between the ruling, quite obviously, of the sideline official and Jared Maxwell blowing the whistle, but it looked forward. I dare say they got it right.
It did look forward, but the player that threw the pass was knocked backwards, which can give the impression. We'll see. Watts is the man. No, he wasn't knocked backwards. He threw it forward. Plain and simple. Easy call for the touch.
One of the golden rules in league, when the opposition make a mistake, you need to finish your 6, which you've been gifted. If you get a set of 6 after the opposition make a mistake, you need to complete it. You can't turn the ball over early in the tackle count and nullify the advantage that you've just gained. You have to make the opposition pay for their mistake.
Remember that Monday night game we caught up in Newcastle between the Knights and the Eels back in round 15?
This is more exciting than that.
No, boy, nobody knew the golden rule on that night. Here's Hayne! He's away! Look out, Hayne versus Bowen! Jared Hayne running away from Matty Bowen! What speed! What power! What a try by Parramatta!
What a run, Jared Hayne. Isn't it great to watch him in full flight? Matt Bowen coming across. He hit the afterburners. Jared Hayne zipped around him. Ball movement up the middle of the field there. Robson picks up Hayne just his side of halfway, and then he puts it down. Bowen couldn't go with him. Super run. Great ball there from Keating off to Robson, and then inside to Jared Hayne. One of the real flyers of the game. man that was chasing him's no slouch either.
Again through the middle, Jared Hayne pushing up there in support. And when he got into the clear, he set sail for that try line. I don't think Matty Bowen was ever going to get him. It's a great response from Parramatta. And we talk about making the opposition pay for an error. Well, Parramatta have done exactly that to the Cowboys. Here's an injured player lying on the ground for Parramatta. I think it might be Robson, is it?
No, it might be Matt Keating, I think you'll find.
He was the player that passed the ball on the inside to Robson and got the movement started.
He's reaching towards that left shoulder at the moment, Matt Keating, but they're taking every precaution with him. Jumped out of dummy half and just fell into the tackle very low to the ground. Leeson Armour was going down with him, and
he just had his head turned at an awkward angle, and that was the force from the arm from our Armour has twisted that neck backwards. And that is the issue here. And let's hope it's not too serious.
While he lays it, let's go downstairs to Andy Raymond.
Just spoken to the Parramatta team officials, and Matt Keating, sore neck, experiencing pins and needles down one side of his body at the moment. Craig Catterick, along with Dr. Steve McNamara, out there at the moment, treating him. All caution taken, of course.
Our concern is with Matt Keating at the moment. This will be a real blow for the Eels. We do have, of course, his brother Chris on the bench, and well, like Anthony Watts himself, he could be a real live wire out of dummy half, and they are going to place Leeson Armour on report for the tackle.
Well, look, I just thought it was an accident. I think he was going down. His head got caught in a bad angle. Let's hope he's okay. I'm sure he will be. I saw him moving his legs out there and his arms, so they're taking a precautionary measure to take him off the field. But it'd also be interesting to see how the other Keating would be feeling at this stage, Chris Keating, because to see his brother out there on the field in that position being taken off on the Medicab, yeah, he's excited about being a part of this game, but he'd also be thinking, how is my brother?
I'm sure he'd be finding out pretty quickly before he runs onto the field. You wouldn't want to be running onto the field with any doubt in your mind about your brother.
Well, that's more important to find out how he is travelling. I'm sure he'd be looking on from the sideline, nervous and wanting to know what's happened.
It might be a tough call on Armour, because Keating was very low by the time the contact was made. And yes, it was. He did make contact with his head, but he was well and truly on his way down.
Yeah, I don't think Leeson Armour will have too much to worry about as far as the match review committee is concerned. It came, of course, off the back of the try, so it won't be a penalty as such against the Cowboys. They've had the chances in the last couple of minutes, the Cowboys, but come up with a couple of balls that they've put down, and as you said, Laurie, they've been made to pay now, and they give up the 6-0 lead they had. What a try by Jared Hayne, who we're talking about Usain Bolt, of course, coming out to run in a race in Melbourne, I think it is, in the end of the season. It wasn't quite Usain Bolt like this, but boy, the way he ran away from Matt Bowen. I mean, Matt Bowen, and he left him in his dust.
He did. He had more ground to cover, Jared Hayne, than Matt Bowen did. Carl Webb, the man that he beat originally, Jared Hayne, and it wasn't until he beat Carl Webb that he could really concentrate on running as quickly as he could to the try line. But wow, that was a great sight to watch him motoring.
How good is it to see Jared Hayne in full flight? Been impressed with his performance tonight, Jared Hayne. Hasn't overplayed his hands, but he's been an option for players when they've been carrying the football. At times he's been their #1 go-to player as far as ball playing, but tonight he's given them a bit of ball playing, but he's also been there as a support runner. And here's Chris Keating, just about to see how his brother is travelling. Look at that. Brotherly love.
Our thoughts certainly with Matt Keating at the moment. Let's keep our fingers crossed and just hope it is nothing more than a precaution with some pins and needles, as Andy Raymond reported off the back of that tackle with Lisa Narmau. As we rejoin the action, and Luke Bird from wide out. What a kick! It's got the length. He makes it a converted try. The difference. The Eels playing for their credibility in 2010 lead the Cowboys 12 points to 6. Courtesy of that man. The Hayne train is back in business here tonight. Thurston's restart will go down towards Mortimer, who takes it, gives it off to Tim Mallett, who charges at them. Good body angle he has coming into the contest, doesn't he? Look at him power through that tackle and supply a fast play the ball. And it's Chris Keating, fresh on the field, who takes it beyond the 30. Mortimer goes to Paul. Will tip on there for Nathan Hindmarsh. Thought about doing something similar, but took the tackle. Keating again, giving it to Justin Paul. Taking it up beyond the 40.
It's a great bench, isn't it, when you can bring on Justin Paul, who before missing last week was probably the form front rower over the past fortnight or so. And Tim Manor, although he only played 10 minutes in Origin, it was a pretty impressive 10 minutes, and he's been doing that all year. So a strong bench, and you lose nothing when you bring on Paul and Manor.
No, one is current Origin player. One was an Origin player before linking up with the Eels at the beginning of the season. It's quite a tag team to be able to call on. Justin Horrow is also out there now in 16 for Parramatta. We saw Fletty Mateo come from the field also. He'll spend a big portion of his game on the bench, Mateo. The talented ball player that he is. We may not see him again. Usually the pattern is about midway through the second half he re-emerges. Here's Graham playing it beyond the Cowboys 30-metre line. Tonga takes it out of dummy half. It was the Cowboys early on setting the pace. Parramatta have hit back and hit back well before the break. Lisa Narmau now. And on report for that tackle on Matt Keating. We'll see if we can get further word as to his condition as the game goes on. As Carl Webb works it forward. He's off the back of the try, which he made the mistake. Now they go wide. That changed momentum in the game. And now there's a whistle. Boy, another long delay between the ruling by the touch judge or sideline official and the referee getting notification of it. Here's the pass again.
Well, I didn't think that was a forward pass.
No, that's okay.
I didn't think it was a forward pass, and we are in perfect position. Right on halfway, the hands go backwards. The ball started to float a little bit forward, but it didn't move that far forward compared to where he was standing. Look, Tupou's still 3 metres behind the halfway mark. Tough call on the Cowboys.
We've had a couple go against them so far, but of course the Eels will tell you about the pass, which looks forward for the try from Thurston to Tonga.
Well, they must defend that error there, because here come the Parramatta side, and with 3 minutes to go before half-time, the Cowboys line must stay intact. You'll afford to give up points here.
Mortimer taking it to the line and then swung to ground, but he plays it quickly. Chris Keating gives it off to Robson. Now Justin Paul cut down, and another good tackle, this one by Anthony Watts. Just chopped him down. Mortimer, flat ball, giving it to Ben Smith, who's still out there despite re-aggravating that hamstring injury. Last play right here. Keating now will fire it back for Robson, who kicks it towards the post, just tipping towards Hayne, who came down with it, a catch and a step, and he's back in a big way.
Just make sure that the Parramatta player didn't knock it into a Cowboy player.
He might have collided with the upright pad as well here, Jared Hayne. He's still on his haunches, and they're going to check the contest for the ball as it came down from Robson's kick. But it looked as though it may have been Hayne that won the contest. A couple of grabs it needed.
You know what was impressive about that? Jared Hayne's work off the football. He was well down that right-hand side there, sprinted around to the centre of the field. The play was for him. He got into position.
Well, that's a try. I think that came off Matty Bowen's hand into the arms of Jarryd Hayne. And you're right, Brandy. We've spoken about the involvement of Jarryd Hayne tonight. He was stationed on the right, close to the play of the ball. He pushed himself to the middle of the park.
That's Bowen's hands. They've got the football.
And he contested. He contested, and that's a well-placed kick because they have put that kick on the head of Grant Ravelli, knowing that Jarryd Hayne is a much taller man, can outleap him. And if this is a try, this will be a big blow to the Cowboys on the stroke of half-time.
Well, it should be a try. And it is a try.
Green light from the video referee, Tim Mander, and it's a good lead now for Parramatta a couple of minutes out from the break.
Gee, he still had plenty of work to do, Jarryd Hayne, even after he took that football. Here's the kick, and it was spot on from Jeff Robson. Jarryd Hayne, the man, got himself into position. He's run 40 metres to get into position, had to step around Thurston. Tim Manor also played a small part in that try too, because Hayne started to wobble sideways, and Tim Manor got his hands on Jarryd Hayne and pushed him, straightened him up, and that got him to the left-hand side of the upright. So I think Tim Manor certainly played a part in the try that was just great. Great football again from Jarryd Hayne. The footwork for such a big man.
There's plenty of him, Jarryd Hayne. He can run. We saw his strength just there to beat the tackle of Thurston. And Luke Bird converts from just about right in front to make it 2 converted tries. The difference now. Beautifully weighted kick by Robson. Bowen didn't quite get there early enough to clean it up. Tamata was there late, trying to dive underneath Jarryd Hayne. And inside the final minutes, as the Cowboys could have been penalised for being well in front of the kickoff there. It's the Eels by 12 as Manor brings it back. And they may not be done with yet. Just on 40 seconds remaining in this first half. Here's Inu. Gives it to Joel Reddy. Parramatta running riot. Kristen Inu. They'll go the length of the field from the kickoff. Are they back? Are they back? You bet they are. What an incredible turn of events right here. They cannot believe it at Parramatta Stadium. They are on their feet. And why wouldn't they be? The Eels are on fire.
What about the return of Tim Manor, the second in a row? Makes great ground. Quick play the ball. Mortimer goes down the short side. Then clever play by Inu. Throws the dummy. Puts Joel Reddy away. Not easy to run and do this from Joel Reddy. Matt Bowen's a very experienced number 1. But in the end, delivered a great ball to Kristen Inu. Smart play, Parramatta, and if they were lacking confidence before this one, well, it's back all right.
Luke Bird again from right in front. What a scoreline we have here. Suddenly, 24 points to 6 at the break. Parramatta scoring 3 tries in the final 6 minutes. A stunning finish to the first half. There's still a lot more to come, though. Stick around, the boys back in the studio right after this on Monday Night Football. Ahead. And Hayne won the race. Boy, it got them going in a big way. Time back on. Luke Bird gets us underway. He'll kick it down the middle of the field, right between the uprights. Would have been a 50-metre goal, and Bowen caught it to give it off to Carl Webb, who would... And he'd love to have that catch over once again. Oh, speaking of having it over once again, Anthony Watts coughs it up from dummy half. In their last 3 possessions, they haven't completed a set of 6. And the Eels, well, they might have 6 more points coming up here in a few moments' time.
Yeah, little wonder that the Eels put points on them with those sort of possession swings in the back end of that first half. But Anthony Watts, who has made a couple of mistakes already in his time on the field, really puts his team under pressure.
Run! Move! On the line!
Well, here they are, 10 metres out from the Cowboys line, having scored 3 tries in 6 minutes to end the first half. Ben Smith is still out there. He twinged that hamstring, but he's okay to continue on. Chris Keating goes across to Robson, out the back for Hayne. Had to pivot and then coming with it. Jonathan Wright picked off on a good tackle there. There's a runner to Mata, who made the tackle on him. Come back, one off the play, the ball. Justin Horrow looking for an offload, a magical one, and somehow hang on to it. Here's Robson, giving it to Tim Manor. Boy, what an end of the first half he had. His work was outstanding. Now Keating goes to Robson, another good kick. Thurston under pressure, under so much pressure. Nobody could find the ball for the Cowboys. And Joel Reddy couldn't believe it. The simplest try he'll score in his NRL career.
The JT shaking his head. Matt Bowen, there was no communication between the pair of them. Thurston had it covered. Bowen's coming forward to the ball in the end. Jonathan Thurston runs straight over the top of the football, and it's an easy one for the Eels. What a horror start for the Cowboys. The last 25 minutes have been disastrous. They haven't had the football. They've had 5 tries put on them. And Joel Reddy gets his hand on the ball. Lack of urgency, lack of communication, lack of effort.
They've only got themselves to blame. I mean, the back end of that first 40 minutes, some ineffective tackling. They weren't prepared to put their shoulders in and get their bodies in and stop the man carrying the football. And there, just a lack of urgency to ground the ball. I mean, it was a sloppy start, given that Watts had knocked it on from dummy half. But really, when they rolled the ball into the end goal, Thurston or Bowen, they just needed to be to get to the football and ground it, not look at it.
It was never going to go dead. Luke Burt is going to get some practice before this one is out, you get the feeling. 30 points to 6. An incredible 15 or so minutes of actual game time in this one here tonight on Monday Night Football. And if the Cowboys aren't careful, well, the Eels will crack 50. It'll play them right back into form. Well, we're perhaps another run to the finals.
Well, we're talking about a team who have been struggling to score points. A team that is the worst in the league at scoring points and putting pressure on the opposition. And all of a sudden, they've scored 30 points in 43 minutes.
It's the first time they've scored 30 points this season. The only other team to this point of the season not to score 30 is Canberra. Here's a pass forward. Inu was away again, or so he thought. Boy, the Cowboys suddenly opening up badly.
Well, the Cowboys are showing us why they're positioned down the bottom of the competition table. I mean, they're sitting in 15th place. Only Melbourne are behind them. And defensively, they've been terrible all season.
Yeah, look, I didn't think it could turn around either. And I think their total lack of self-belief about really being a realistic chance of making the semi-final was going to see this one go the way it has already. The Cowboys were terrible against the Sharks a fortnight ago, and they got smacked by Melbourne the week before that, and that's at their home ground.
Doesn't matter where they've been this season. They've really struggled. Tamo now. They're playing 35 metres away from the Parramatta line. Here's Watts. We'll see if they can complete this set of 6. There'll be a start for them as Thurston goes across to Matty Bowen on the angle. He was picked off by Joel Reddy and also Daniel Mortimer. Tonga gives it to Thurston. Fins away from Mortimer. Goes back to the right-hand side. And they'll play it here just outside the Parramatta 10. Last play. Watts at dummy half. Will go to Ravelli. He chips it towards the corner. Going up, making a good catch was Luke Burt. He thought he was back in the in goal when he left the ground. And Jared Maxwell agrees.
Yeah, just not high enough for his chasers to get there and put any, make any impact on the play. Tim Manor carts the ball forward and gets just to the 10-metre line. Another strong carry from the Eel coming off the bench, and here's his fellow front row partner, Justin Poore.
Getting some great value, aren't they, from Poore and also Manor tonight. Here's Horrow out the back for Chris Keating. And a chance to go to his right-hand side. Now he tries to. And Mortimer is cleaned up by Dane Hogan. It's another fast play, the ball, though. Now Manor straight across the halfway line. He'll play it for Keating once again. Here's Hayne kicking. Oh, he was intended to kick it across the sideline there. He was kicking it and thinking that he could knock it into the in-goal area and put some real pressure on Matty Bowen to bring it back. And the confidence is back in that man, isn't it?
It certainly is. It's also good maturity by Jared Hayne. I mean, 30 points to 6. They were gaining some momentum through the middle. They started to create a bit of second phase play. And at one stage there, they were going backwards. And I think Jared Hayne just took it upon himself to find touch and just calm everyone down. Calm everyone down. Tell them that we've still got plenty of time here. We still need to go through the process. But at the moment, they're a far more energised football team. Everything they're doing is working. And the Cowboys, defensively, very poor once again. Their contact has been poor. Their effort on the ground, as far as the wrestle concerned, is not there. And Parramatta, well, they would love to score 50 in this game. And they should. The way that the Cowboys are performing at the moment, Parramatta would be disappointed if they can't put another 20 points on them.
Here's a good ball for Bolton, who gives it on to Willie Tonga. He comes to Hayne and goes inside the 30. He's wrapped up from behind by, yeah, you guessed it, Nathan Hindmarsh once again. Willie Mason, who started like a house on fire at the beginning of the game. Knocked over backwards here, though, by Justin Paul. And they are growing in feet, Parramatta, with every play in this game. Ready now, up above them like Superman, coming down with a catch. A poor end of the set of 6 for the Cowboys.
Well, the Parramatta hand putting pressure on Jonathan Thurston, and the ball made contact as it went past the Parramatta player, and that made it easy for Joel Reddy. Not many Cowboys getting involved in the contest.
Here's Hindmarsh. Getting a good tackle by Willie Mason. He'll play at 15 out from his own line. Now Paul. An impersonation there of Tim Manor. Plenty of angle on his run. Took it beyond the 20. So they come back to the right-hand side. Little ball for Manor. The 1-2 punch from the bookends. It took some stopping once again. First and underneath with Bolton over the top. Now Mortimer. They come up quickly into his face, so he goes wide. Robson's kick into the back of Leeson Armour, straight to a runner, Tamata, who will dive out and score for the Cowboys. They are going to check it.
Look and see if the bloke who picks up the ball is actually in front of him.
We'll wait and see where Tamata was when the ball bounced, I'm sure, off the back of Leeson Armour.
Well, it did look trouble for the Eels there, where Daniel Mortimer threw the long pass. It was a high one. Robson had to reach high, grab it, and then try and get the kick away. Arm out. That's all good. That's all good. The player that it came off was Anthony Watts. So he was the player that they were concerned about. He was behind Armour. And then Tamata, who's shown a great ability with very little football tonight to beat defenders, is able to squeeze past Jonathan Wright, Justin Paul, and get the ball down for what looks like a Cowboys try.
Tim Mander will spin up the green lights as expected for Arana Tamata, who has try number 4 in his career and his first try since round 18 of 2008.
Well, that was really sloppy by the Parramatta team and a real lack of attention to detail, given that, fifth tackle, they want to use the football and go 2 passes wide for a kick when Jared Hayne was infield, as was the left winger Luke Burt. So they didn't have numbers over that side of the field. It was just a lack of urgency and a lack of respect for the opposition. You still need to go through your process. If you're making yards, get in the kick. But that was a real, we're going to score here. Let's try our luck going down this left edge on last tackle.
There was good pressure on Mortimer from the inside. Matthew Scott and also James Tamu put some pressure on Mortimer. He had to throw the pass, but it wasn't a great one.
And Thurston's kick, hooking back. He gets the flags in the air. Well, they have stopped the bleeding for the moment, but it's still 3 converted tries. The difference at 30 points to 12, 10 minutes into this second half.
I'd be dirty. I'd be dirty if I was Daniel Anderson after that.
Well, Jeff Robson should have known that there was no way he was going to get a kick away with the fact that he had jumped to catch the ball. The defence was all over him. It was a miracle if he was going to get that through the defensive line, and he didn't.
James Tarmo it is who brings it back out on the restart for the Cowboys. Matthew Scott bouncing off the chest tackle there of Justin Paul, wrapped up by Horrow and also Manor. Now Willie Mason giving it to first and getting to the outside of Joel Reddy. And they had some success doing that through runner to Mata early in the first half as Mason takes a carry once again. Brings it back to the 40-metre line. Now Watts. Bolton to Tonga. Inu jamming in, making a good stop. He read that one nicely. Had his moments defensively. He knew that he was on song right there. Now Graham flashing through off the Thurston kick. It evaded everybody. And then coming back to clean it up.
Put up with that.
Justin Paul cleaned the ball up, and then obviously Jared Maxwell.
One of them just gave me a gobble. I don't know who it was, but I'm telling you,
not the spray from one of the Cowboys on the run through.
Well, it was a nice kick by Thurston, and if Graham gets the bounce, he's very hard to stop because Jared Hayne was quite deep and was going to find it hard. Here's a little chip, onside. Just needed a bounce. It's evaded him. And Joel Reddy was covering in defence. He was back there just marking Graham.
That's an interesting one by the referee. I don't know who it was, but I've copped the spray.
Must have been a pretty good one. He certainly wasn't going to take it, that's for sure. It gives the Eels a chance to go back on the attack. Mortimer to Jared Hayne looking for a hat-trick. Putting the foot down once again, this time wrapped up by Armau and also Ravelli. Here's Keating. Down the short side they go to Jonathan Wright. Good tackle by Ravelli once again, and also Ashley Graham. Keating comes back for Robson. He goes to Mortimer. They're set to the right-hand side. Plenty of forwards, though, in the middle of it all. Kalis was there, so was Hindmarsh and Paul. And it broke down with Mortimer. Good. Now another kick into the in goal. We'll see how they go this time. Hayne was knocked down. It'll be play on, though. He wasn't taken out of it illegally, said the referee. And after their dramas, their nightmares, the previous kick where Jonathan Thurston looked at it, Matty Bowen looked at it, and Joel Reddy scored. At least they were able to bring this one away. No dramas there. Jared Hayne perhaps just trying to milk it. A bit of attention from Scotty Bolton, but he held his ground and it was okay. Now Willie Mason brings it back out towards the 30. We know they've got plenty of points in them at their best, the Cowboys, but a long time since they've been at their best. Here's Ravelli. Good tackle by Keating. Last play, Watson at dummy half. Will chip for himself. It worked out, but he'll be wrapped up at the halfway line. And Nathan Hindmarsh, again, there in cover, comes up with the ball.
He just wanted the ball more than what the Cowboys players did. Nathan Hindmarsh, it spewed out the back. He got himself in a position to dive on the ball. The last couple of times the Cowboys have had the ball on last tackle, they've chipped over the top. They haven't gained a result from it. And Parramatta are straight back into an attacking position.
They're not going to die wondering, the Cowboys. They'll continue to throw the ball around and try and come up with something, as they have done for much of the match. It hasn't stuck. The last half an hour, really, they have struggled to get to their 5th tackle. But they'll continue to throw things at the Eels. That was the shortest chip kick in the history of chip kicks, too.
It was in the final of chip kicks, that's for sure.
Made it easier for Nathan Hindmarsh.
Scraping his hands up to his foot and back again. Here's Keating, who goes inside the Cowboys' 20. Now 13 metres out they are on the last play. Jonathan Wright says, who wants it? And he'll find Robson. Bill Robson, his kicking and attack has been good tonight. Haynes there again, tapping it backwards. It falls for Luke Burt. Now there's some pressure. Matty Bowen watches it and took it dead. He was taking no chances this time after what happened last time.
He did wait as long as he could. Luke Burt gets it onto the foot very quickly and also gets through a couple of Cowboys to chase it, putting pressure on. Matty Bowen would have heard him coming and had to play at it. 6 inches short of going dead itself.
Ravelli with the dropout. It's Kalis who will bring it back. Playing game number 251. The Eels here this evening. Keating. He's at the Fui. He's back out there. He's had a breather. It's Justin Poor it is who's come from the field for Daniel Anderson. Daniel Mortimer now. Good ball off his hip. Tim Manor couldn't hang on to it. It was half through a hole. Now Matty Bowen. This is his chances of being half through the hole. Felipe Mateo is also back out there. Went on for the tackle. A little bit too long there for the referee's liking.
Mortimer going to the line, passing to Justin Horror. It was a good ball and all tackle by Jonathan Thurston, who forced the ball loose. And this is a good touch finder by the Cowboys. You mentioned it, they're not going to die wondering, and Parramatta will really have to aim up here defensively.
It was almost a 60-metre kick.
That was huge.
For line. Now the ball comes loose again. They're going to say it was stripped out by the Eels. Parramatta giving the Cowboys a leg up here to get them back into the game. Matthew Scott heads towards the uprights. He had Tamo coming with him, still going, eventually wrapped up by Chris Keating and also Moi Moi. Aaron Payne back out there. Here is Tamo. Tripping over in behind the play was Matthew Scott, who was taken out of it accidentally. They're only about 5 metres away. 2 plays gone. Here's Ravelli. Good first man ball there for Armel. Did well to hang on to it. Met in a solid tackle by Hindmarsh and also Mateo. Now Ravelli away to Thurston. He started the game very busily. Bowen gives it to Tonga. He'll be hard to stop from there. Just about sneaks through. The try here for the Cowboys would really give them a sniff. Now Tupou goes back to Bowen. Thurston. Hard and straight was Mason. Again it was Hindmarsh putting his body in front of him with the Eels. Again, stripped the ball away in the tackle.
Well, 5th tackle penalty. They've done some work, the Eels, on their line. They're looking for a quick tap.
And I'll go to Thurston. Straight away out the back. Ravelli gives it to Armel, but he was dying on his run. He was well marked by Robson. And also right when he received the ball. Payne comes back to Thurston again. He says, just take it forward. Give me a chance to see what's happening out wide. And they'll take a settler through Tamo. Here's Payne. Here comes to Thurston. Now there's a chance. Bowen had to wait for the ball. He puts the foot down, bounces off one. Coming across, the Eels make a terrific tackle and cover through Mortimer. Payne goes out the back, picked up by Ravelli. He puts a kick in, some pressure on Luke Bird. He comes up with a catch, and he won't bring it back. Hanging on by a bootlace, one of those yellow bootlaces. Was a runner to Mata. And there'll be a dropout coming up from the Eels.
Well, that was a run of defence that the Eels had to make. There was the strip from Jonathan Wright. There was some very good one-on-one tackles. I think Willie Mason just let go of that football. I don't know if that was stripped. He put his hands up in the air pretty quickly.
We mentioned those yellow bootlaces tonight. The Eels doing their part for the Cancer Council's Call to Arms month, drawing attention to men's cancer, and of course subject very close to the heart of the Eels, and in particular Tim Manor, with brother John, of course, fighting a battle against cancer this year, and great to know it's been a successful battle. We look forward to seeing him back on the paddock sometime soon for the Sharks. Here's Aaron Payne going to Thurston. At the back it goes for Bowen. Joel Reddy once again reading it nicely, coming up with a tackle. Plenty of tackles in succession here for the Cowboys from close range as we approach the middle point of this second half. Ravelli, a long ball. Had to wait for it. Tamata made the catch and then skipped to the outside. He's looked dangerous in this role in the centres tonight as he plays it for Payne. Here's Ravelli giving it to Mason, getting yet another carry. He's been busy in his time on the field. 20 tackles, 10 carries now for Willie. We'll play it at the 10. Payne for Thurston. First man play, they go across the face of them. In fact, what a lovely ball for Willie Tonga, who has his second try tonight, courtesy of a Thurston pass, and this one was absolute magic.
Yeah, well, if you give the Cowboys, and in particular Jonathan Thurston, plenty of opportunity inside your 20-metre zone, he will have a good selection of pass at some stage and create points for his team. And that was a wonderful pass to Willie Tonga. Tonga just a little left foot step back on the inside. And there was good shape, there was good players pushing into holes. You see him there cutting back on the inside. And Parramatta have just been a little bit sloppy with their defensive work. And the Cowboys had built pressure, but it was building nicely for them. They look dangerous when they control the football, and there's some spaces there for them. This game is not over yet.
Not by a long stretch. Just under 20 remaining. And all that pressure telling on Parramatta. We'll see what it's done to their energy reserves in the run to the post here tonight. Thurston converts. It's 30 points to 18. While Parramatta did all the scoring at the back end of the first half and grabbed one in the second minute. And it's the Cowboys coming back in a big way right now. We've got a good one coming up here, you get the feeling.
Well, for the first time, the Cowboys have been able to keep the ball away from the Eels. They've forced a couple of errors, a couple of penalties on the back of that, a repeat set. And they'll continue to throw the ball around, the Cowboys.
The kick goes down to Thurston, who will give it off to Willie Mason. Charging it, Joe Reddy. It's the Willie of old tonight. Straight through them. What a run. He's turned back the clock 6 or 7 years with a run like that when he was playing for Australia, skittling bombs all over the place at the Sydney Football Stadium on one memorable occasion. Here's Ravelli, quick hands away to Bowen. Tamata beats the outstretched arms of Luke Burks. And he runs to Mateo, but they're back across the halfway line on 3 plays from the restart. Here's Armau. Parramatta treading water suddenly, and the Cowboys coming at them. Payne at dummy half. He gives it to Bowen. He goes first man play for Tamo. Good ball, good hands by the big man as well. He took the shot of Horo and also Moi Moi. Here's Thurston on the last, looking for a repeat set. Off the kick, though, is just too big.
There's some real danger signs there for Parramatta. Real lack of urgency with the way that they're making their contact. Willie Mason off the kickoff. We've seen some great charges off the kickoff tonight. In the first 40 minutes, it was Tim Mannah. A couple of charges and then one in the second half. And then Willie Mason. You need to put your body in front of those big men. You need to lead with your shoulders. Parramatta just lacking that urgency at the moment.
Yeah, they can't rely on 30 points to get them home. With the way their defence looked in that set, they can't rely on 30 being enough to get them the win.
They'll play it here from inside their own 40 as Keating gives it away to Hindmarsh. He tracks across the red line to take it up towards the halfway. Caught in an awkward position here, and there's going to be a penalty, and it's going to be, I'm sure, for a bit of a chicken wing tackle. Ben Harris, the player fresh on the field, and it was Ashley Klein who made the call.
Well, he got himself into that position there, and then continued to work on it. Once you realise you've got a player in that position, well, you've got to work your way out of that so you're not putting any undue pressure on the shoulder.
No doubt he reached at the arm of Hindmarsh to get him in that position to begin with, and then, as you say, didn't drop out of it. Now an offload as they go down the left-hand side. Here's Jonathan Wright, who will play it just inside the Cowboys' 20. Keating, they can arrest the slide right here. They can steady with a try. Moi Moi. Good run, good stop by Payne, Bolton, and also Tamo. Now Robson, Mortimer, options inside and out. He goes to Justin Horo. There's quite a couple of offloads already, just 8 metres away when he'll play it here. 3 plays gone in this set. Now Hayne, slipping to the short side, a big fend, a reach, and he scores! It's hat-trick Hayne tonight! In times of need, the fullback has delivered in 2009, and now he's doing again in 2010.
I've got no doubt on the back of what he did in Origin 3-2. The confidence he would have gained out of that. First receiver, gets the ball in his hands, a huge fend on Jonathan Thurston. He's pushed him off a couple of times tonight. Through Willie Tonga, drags another couple over, and just the footwork. We spoke about it earlier. For a big man to be able to move so well in such a confined space is an enormous talent. This bloke is great to watch.
He certainly is. And he will always fancy his chances on a short side if they're lining up man on man. And he was lined up on Jonathan Thurston. It was always going to be difficult for Thurston to make that tackle, given that Haynes got great strength and got good evasive skills. And he pushed away. That's his third for the night. And Jared Hayne is back in a big way.
After a worrying 10 to 15 minutes, the Cowboys went back to back. And it shouldn't be enough now, you'd imagine, for the Eels. With Luke Burt striking them nicely tonight. This one hooking back as well. Over the black dot it goes. He makes it 36 points to 18. Let's go downstairs to Andy Raymond. Andy might have gone for his boots. He might be that excited he's decided to put a pair of blue and gold socks on himself. Hayne, the hat-trick. What a night it's been here tonight on Monday Night Football. The first of them was sensational. Then the catch and the strength. And again, the last of them just left them in his wake.
Well, that's what we come to expect from Jared Hayne. You know, at times he's given us glimpses of it, of that type of form. Just hasn't been consistent with it. Tonight he's been excellent for the Parramatta side. And the energy and the way that he's carried himself, the body language has been there tonight for Jared. He's imposed himself on this game, as all great players do. When they need to do something for the team, they step up and provide it.
Now Mortimer's kick from his own side of halfway. It'll bounce up here for Matty Bowen to give it off to Will Tupou. We'll see what sort of energy the Cowboys have left now after that try by Hayne. Probably killed off any chance they had of continuing on this comeback. They go wide straight away. A chance for Tonga up against Kristen Inu. Reddy and Horro came very quickly to wrap him up just inside his own 40. Might have been hurt in that tackle. Willie Tonga. Here's Willie Mason again charging at them. And they're certainly fired up this crowd tonight, and his teammates at times as well. Now Graham down the short side. No way through there. Good run though by the winger. 40 away from the Eels line when he plays it. It goes from Bolton away to Thurston. Out the back for Ravelli. He cuts out one, touched by Jonathan Wright. It should be 6 more tackles. And will be. Here's Tamata down the sideline. They will say no advantage to the Cowboys there. The knock on by Wright will come back, and it'll be a scrum feed for the Cowboys.
Yeah, it was definitely a knock forward by the Parramatta players as they converge on Tamata and carry him across the sideline. It was great to watch Jared Hayne there in that set of 6 defensively for Parramatta. He was standing as close to the defensive line as I've seen him in the past, and he was organising and he was telling players where to be and what to do. And the fact that the Cowboys have chipped over the top the last few times in possession, he's reacted to that. At times Jared Hayne can stand too deep, but tonight little things in his game, you just see it's been switched on right from the start.
Here's Payne on the attack. The Cowboys once again a good ball back on the angle. Ben Harris picked off, and a lovely tackle by Chris Keating. Now Thurston running at them. Another long ball, another absolute arrow from the bow of Jonathan Thurston. What a display he's put on at times tonight. This one straight to Will Tupou. He's hurt Thurston. He's clutching at that foot. He was looking at it after Jared Hayne had scored. He's got a nice mouse on that right eye as well. But what about this passing display tonight?
That's hard to do. Running at speed, engaging the defence, and a spiral pass which goes 20 metres into the arms of a winger unmarked. It's great vision, but it's extremely difficult to do going at speed, Brent, when you square up, engage people, and then let it go.
Yeah. The touch by Joel Reddy might have helped things too. But Jonathan Thurston says we're not done with yet. This kick could put them back into within a couple of tries. And while the defence, and it has, while the defence has been ordinary, when they've been able to hang on to the ball and get through a set and back it up with another set, they've looked likely. Super ball.
That angle there in particular shows up just how you have to thread the needle to do what he did, because it was millimetres from the fingertips of the Parramatta defenders.
Well, not many people can do that.
He went to the line. He threw that 20-metre ball on the defensive line, right in the middle of it, right in the advantage line. That's not easy.
Just the way that he transferred his weight to his left leg. A lot of people, when they throw that type of pass, they'll go back on their right leg and all the weight's transferred. And as they pass it, the ball starts to float up, and it's a Harbour Bridge type pass. But that one, because he was passing off his left foot, it just was accurate, it was fast, and it got there extremely quickly.
It's been nothing short of a rugby league exhibition at times tonight from some of the game stars, and I think it shows in highlight. Last week, the split round, all the Origin players missing. The football wasn't at its best. Everybody back this week, and boy, there's been some classic stuff. Here is Tonga again, speaking of one of the stars. Returning from the Queensland success, he's picked up some big metres running down this left-hand side tonight. As Thurston goes to Ravelli. Now Harris on a spin away there from Tim Manor. Another try here in the next couple of minutes, and the Cowboys, well, they're not done with yet. Here's Bowen looking to get a repeat set. Instead, he chips it straight to Preston Inu, who loses the ball and will give it straight back to North Queensland. And they have it. That'll be the zero tackle there with Matty Bowen coming up with it.
Well, the Bowen kick seemed to take the sting out of everything, but they've been able to get it back. A mistake by Preston Inu. Tackle one inside the 20, the Cowboys.
Here's Thurston. Can he do it again? Here's Bolton. Short ball this time. They might have been thinking long ball. He went short. Showing the full array for the Eels here tonight. Now he floats. Gives it to Ravelli. Running hard as Anthony Watts. Running like a front rower out wide out there. Just 5 metres out. They're playing for Ben Harris. He comes back for Thurston. He's setting a record tonight for touches of the ball in one game, Jonathan Thurston. Matty Bowen set upon by Joel Reddy. There were two in the tackle. Not according to the men in pink. Play on is the call.
Well, we'll have a look at that again, but gee, I thought he had it out pretty quick. Joel Reddy knew exactly what he was doing. I don't know if he didn't have it out before Mortimer joined the tackle.
Now there's a foot in the play, the ball from James Tarmo, and the Eels have hung on. It was getting scary for a moment for some of their fans. Here it is again. Bowen runs to Reddy.
Had it. I'm going to say he had it out. He had it out pretty quickly. Matt Bowen ran out of room and ran straight into him. There's the foot by Tarmo.
And a lovely ball by Moi for Horo. What a tackle by Matty Bowen on the big forward. Oh, now Willie Tonga throws the ball. They're going to launch an attack from inside their own 20. Watts stepping, staying alive, linking up with Thurston from sideline to sideline. Get a DV, and keep it. Boy, what a game this is.
Well, I can't believe. I'm assuming that Justin Horo tried to pass that. I don't think he lost it.
No, he tried to pass it.
Tried to throw the flick pass. Why? I don't know. Put his team under pressure again. This has been a highly entertaining game. Defence has been questionable at times. But as far as if you like your attacking rugby league and you like to see teams throw the football around, well, you're getting it in spades here.
This game needs its own channel for about a week to come. Here's Watts kicking straight to Jared Hayne.
He didn't catch that on the full, did he? That bounced first, surely. He didn't catch that on the full. What about the reflexes?
Now here is Jonathan Wright. Still 5.5 to go. I wish there was 105 minutes to go.
Here's Watts. How did he catch that? Fair dinkum.
That's ridiculous. Seriously.
When
You think he's not back. Jared Hayne. That's an unbelievable catch. Now Keating playing it. Manor. I think we've still got something spectacular to come right here in the final 5. I don't know which side will provide it. Either are more than capable. Mortimer stepping and then putting the kick in. It'll bounce up for Matty Bowen. What about that counter-attack from the Cowboys? Not the mistake by Justin Horrow. Here's another one potentially coming up. Matty Bowen still going. Eventually grabbed by Mateo. Not tackled. Can anybody grab him? He gets away from Luke Burt. Look at Matty Bowen. He's turned back the clock as well. There's a time capsule. A big bubble over the top of Parramatta Stadium tonight. We thought it was the Thunderdome. But they've gone backwards in time. Bowen's at his best. No dodgy knees tonight for the fullback. Here's Watts. He's only 35 metres away. He'll play it for Aaron Payne. Comes away to Thurston. He goes first man ball once again. Good ball. They thought it was forward, the Parramatta fans. It was a lovely pass though. Fast play the ball. Thurston down the short side. Runs away from Reddy. He goes to Bowen. Here's Tamo, a skip. And then he straightens. He'll take it to the uprights or towards them at least. 10 metres away when he plays it here on the last. Payne waits. He goes to Mason. First man ball for Bolton. It was a good play, just not good enough to score the try they needed to give us an absolute thrilling finish. And now we're going to have a whistle.
What's he going to say? He dropped it over the line.
I'm going to say he must have ruled it was a knock-on in the in-goal.
Scott Butler. No, he was well short of the in-goal. Well short. Let's play on. A great tackle, great legs tackle there by Daniel Mortimer on Scott Bolton, who's caused some trouble the last couple of times he's had the football. And Joel Reddy came up with a couple of big plays, defensive plays in that set too. Off a quick play the ball, he had to nous to shut Thurston down when he came a blindside out of dummy half.
Here's Keating out of dummy half. He takes it back into Cowboys territory. One more the crowd wants. Here's Paul. Good tackle by Watts. Driving in with the shoulder. Listen to this ovation that Tim Manor is getting from the locals, the season ticket holders, as he comes back to the bench. They're loving it. They're back. They haven't filled the stadium here tonight, but they might in the weeks ahead because they've got some very big games coming up. Parramatta. Feletti Mateo. His field goal attempt is wide. I was going to say, if he kicks that, that'll just about do me. I've seen it all.
I've loved tonight's game. I mean, right from the very outset, attack was the major focus for both teams. And I think because they've been lacking confidence, I honestly believe that they've obviously the instructions were to go out there and use the football, trust your ability, and it'll happen for you. And it's happened for them attacking-wise tonight, but some of the defence hasn't been great.
Here's Ashley Graham. He was away, but he gave a pass to Chris Keating.
Well, every time the Cowboys have got past tackle 3, and they've gone to the edges, they've made metres. Whether it's Tamata's side or whether it's out here to Willie Tonga, they've made ground easy. It was just that period before half-time that cost them.
All over him.
The 6 minutes before half-time when Parramatta ran in 3 unanswered tries. And the score went from 6-all to 24-6. And what felt like the blinking of an eye. Now Kalis off the back of the penalty. Oh, picked up! Look out, Nathan's hot! And he's probably entitled to be as well.
Nathan Kalis, just relax. Just relax, please.
Well, he went through the full cartwheel. Here it is again. Underneath, picking up by the legs, there was Anthony Watts. He will have an issue.
17.
And all the things that they look at when judging a spear tackle or a dangerous throw.
Yeah, okay, I understand that.
And it's the hands between the legs that will find him guilty.
It's a shame for Anthony Watts because he has been, if not the best, one of the Cowboys' best all season. A terrific 2010 season, of course, and will leave the club at the end of this season as the Eels come on the attack to finish off what has been an astounding game. Now, Payless out the back. It goes from Keating to Hayne. What hands? Away to Mateo. He looks to keep it alive again. Still looking. Got it back. Straight to Ashley Graham. Well, it was worth a chance with seconds remaining. And the game in their keeping. Now the Cowboys are going to launch another attack from sideline to sideline. Oh, boy.
Why not?
This has been something else. Mason. He's played his part in it. Now he's throwing balls like Wally Lewis. It comes away to Will Tupou. He gives it back to Thurston. He's out of gas. Willie's going to chip and chase for himself. He runs to them. That'll do it. The ball stripped by Nathan Hindmarsh. 2 in the tackle. And the Cowboys, despite the siren sounding, will have one more crack at them. Thurston again. Pumping it down the field. Just inside the Eels 30. Parramatta will get the 2 points. 2 much-needed points here tonight. The Cowboys, well, mathematically they're alive, but they are done for the season.
Gore.
The first team outside of Melbourne to be so. Here is Thurston. It goes in the air off the outside of the boot. Knocked backwards by Ashley Graham. Fletty Mateo says, well, I'll pick it up. If you don't want it, I'll have it. Now he loses it. That'll just about do us. The boys have thrown everything they've got at us, the fans, and each other tonight. They came here as a club in trouble, no doubt about it. Parramatta infighting between the coach and the star fullback at times. They were making plenty of headlines, but they've responded like a team who were grand finalists last season. They've beaten the Cowboys by 12 here tonight.
Well, after what they did last year, there's no doubt that there's self-belief that they can figure at the end of the season. And they played accordingly tonight. You mentioned the star fullback. It was great to see him in the sort of form that took the Eels to the grand final last year after an indifferent month of football where they had lost their last 3, had struggled to get over the try line. They've provided themselves and their fans with plenty of points tonight, and it was a dynamite 6-minute period in that first half that set it up from 6-all to 24-6. The game was just about done there. The Cowboys, to their credit, when they did get the football in the second half, continued to pepper and came up with a couple of tries themselves, but the Eels thoroughly deserved that victory tonight.
Jonathan Thurston going over to one of the youngsters in the crowd to give him his headgear. Oh, no, and he says, I don't want it, boy. Hard to please. One of the greats of the game. He's a die-hard Parramatta fan. Obviously indoctrinated at a very young age. Let's go downstairs in the meantime to Andy Raymond.
And down here with Jared Hayne, who's got a smile on his face. Now, that's the way to break a 3-game losing streak.
Yeah, that's it. And, still a bit sketchy, so a lot of improvement, but, very good to get a win, especially in front of our home fans.
3 tries. Individually, smile on the face?
Yeah, it is. It's been a while, scoring a couple of tries, so, it was good to get the hat-trick tonight.
I think Laurie said in commentary your confidence out of the last 65 minutes in the last Origin. You could see it here tonight.
I think I've just changed my game up a bit. I'm not doing as much, so truly give a lot more in the halves and that. So it's been good. It obviously worked tonight.
Is that what it's about, being more selective when you do things, opposed to trying to be involved in everything?
I think so. I think when I tend to do too much, it tends to rattle me a bit. So the halves were great tonight, and full credit to the forwards and the backs.
Okay, we've spoken about your offence, your defence tonight. What the hell did you do with that bomb kicked straight into your hands somehow at start?
Yeah, I know. It ricocheted off my chest, so I was actually a bit scared we might get a knock on. We're getting a bit of a roll on at the end there, so just a bit lucky.
Well done, buddy.
Cheers, thanks.
Jared Hayne. What a game tonight from one of the game stars. Boy, they're under pressure, all sorts, coming here tonight, and they knew they were in for a game. The Cowboys took the ascendancy. They led 6 points to 0. But Hayne, well, the Express was back, and it stopped at Parramatta Stadium in no uncertain terms tonight. We will take a break. We'll need a break to take it all in, and then we'll come back with a 1 hour post-game show right here on Monday Night Football.